Welcome to the second day of the World Ultimate Club Championships here in Lecco, Italy. I'm Liam Rosen with Brian Jones from Sky Magazine. First game of the day. As you can see, it's sunny and clear after a torrential day yesterday.
A lot of rain's coming down on the field, and we see the field, little bits of standing water. It's going to be a muddy one, and it's going to be a slow field today.
Hey, make sure to, as you see our Twitter names pop up, this is going to be a theme throughout the whole tournament. We're going to have our Twitter feeds open, reading out your comments and thoughts about the game. So make sure to tweet at us if you're watching the game live. We'll pick out the choice comments and read them on the air. So looking at the two teams today, Brian, we have East Midlands Open from the East Midlands of the United Kingdom facing off against the Buzz Bullets from Japan. We talked to the Bullets before the game about some of their thoughts going in.
And yeah, this is a tournament that they're ready to be a champion at. They faced a lot of pressure as the home squad in 2012 in Sakai as part of the world's team in Japan, and they failed to actually make it past quarters, losing to Sweden. And they said here they have a couple of steps, bringing the team up and then building the individual up, and then they said they were ready to be a champion. They squeaked out in Japanese Nationals, winning 14-13. And also winning the Dream Cup before coming here this summer, and they're ready to win. We
asked them a little bit about the field conditions, as we mentioned. It's real wet. They actually had a helicopter down on the fields. If you saw the picture on Twitter taken by our own camera tech, Mike Palmer, they had a helicopter flying over the fields and pushing the water out to the sides to try to dry the fields off. On our field, though, they were worried about maybe the helicopter hitting some of the equipment surrounding the field, so they weren't able to get real low. So as a result, this field is actually in worse shape than some of the other pitches on the complex.
Should be a clash of two teams with similar strategies. East Midland Open actually has incorporated some of the Buzz Bullets tactics of using cross-field break side shots, not have the height that normally UK teams have, so they'll look to move the disc quickly.
So first pull, the first game. Daniel Colonel Furnell gets it in to Rich Gale. Both were players on the GB Open national team that finished second in Sakai in 2012.
Got a chance to see Furnell actually go on Labor Day several years ago, 2011, with the GB Open team.
Looks like a clean D from Buzz Bullets. Tried to pop the inside break in, but Bullets control. Kichikawa looking for the up line. Finally gets the around swing off to Nose. Nose. Back to Takahashi. Finding Kichikawa again. Looks like a foul call on the mark. Very aggressive mark from Emo.
Definitely more physical marks than we're used to seeing in USA Ultimate since the contact call was used several years ago. In USA Ultimate, contact call goes down to 0 in count. Here it only drops 2.
Kichikawa with the high release backhand. Lots of short passes. That's typical Buzz Bullet style as they reel in the first break of the game.
It's great defense, a lot of pressure. Emo not able to work the disc much up the field. And Buzz Bullets use their signature style of just moving on the run, quick passes, get for the easy goal.
Both teams, though, looking a little bit slow coming out this morning, even Buzz Bullets holding the disc for more stalls than they generally try to. So as you alluded to a bit before on the previous point, Brian, we talked to Coach Sean Scone. He was actually considering or trying to play with Emo this weekend, but unfortunately was injured before the tournament. You can see him out there limping around. He's on crutches. He actually had to be brought over in a golf cart considering the quality of these pitches. So he only arrived just minutes before the game. We had the chance, though, to talk to him about an article he had published actually on UltiWorld. It was a very fortuitous matchup. He published an article. If you want to, go check it out. It's actually very insightful, breaking down how the Buzz Bullet strategy works. And I asked him, was that article written because you knew they were going to be in your pool? He said, no, that was a complete coincidence. Even before he knew that, Emo, given their team style and team stature, they're not a tall team. They're a fast and athletic team, just like the Buzz Bullets are. They really think that the point of success for them is going to be implementing these Buzz Bullets principles in their game. So pull goes off to Emo. Trying to work it down the field. Dump off to Cheeseman. Cheeseman, long undercut, but the disc slips out of the receiver's hands. So a couple early mistakes for Emo. Sugaya gets the dump off. In a case of a slippery field, Nose slipped trying to go for the dump reception. So another error from the Buzz Bullets. Emo slowing it down. The Colonel picks up the disc. Buzz Bullets also known for their close, aggressive marks.
See a lot of slipping on the up lines. It's going to be a case of where which team can secure the disc and get more open. It's going to be valuable to beat your man by more than just a step or two, which is usually enough on clean fields.
Near D on Rich Gale. Does, though, secure the dump. And Gale and Furnell are working with it now. Gale upline to Furnell. Furnell, crossfield hammer. And I'm not sure what happened there. Miscommunication. Receiver didn't even try to get it.
You don't have confidence with this footing. It takes a lot to get going. You need short, choppy steps.
Disc is being sent deep. Receiver's going to lay out and try to get it. Inomata not able to catch up to it. Inomata's a new face. We followed the Buzz Bullets for many years now. He's one of the 2 rookies on this team. Bullets known for being a long-standing team. Once you get in with the Buzz Bullets, players never seem to leave. Even Masahiro Matsuno was spotted on the roster after us maybe thinking he wouldn't be playing this year after being plagued by injuries. So Emo working back with it in the hands of Gale. Gale finding Coddington. Toes the line, does Tom Fox, being called in. Fox needs to get it off the line. A miscommunication with Gale. And Buzz Bullets will look to fast break. Bullets off the line to Abe. Abe to Sugaya. Travel call to Sugaya. Moves back to the original position, gets the inside break off to the middle of the field, and Bullets toe the line. So they'll go up 2-0 to start this game off.
It's really important that Emo is able to get their footing and confidence and know what they need to do. The Buzz Bullets use a lot of short, choppy steps in their game already, and Emo is trying to go a little bit longer. They need to just cut down, get their feet moving at all times, and not get stuck in the mud. The receivers need to be able to get that just a little bit of momentum. We saw on the hammer there from Furnell, just unable to
catch up to it.
Yep.
So an early lead for the Buzz Bullets. So Emo looks for their first point of the game, looking nervous. Some of these showcase field early game nerves.
We've seen this on a case on a lot of teams when they come into this big stage. Just need a couple of points to work it out. Once the 1 point is in, they feel their confidence and they feel like they can get it done.
Steed all the way across the field. Looks like he'll be called not in. Emo pops the disc right into the end zone to strike their first point on the board.
And it's just, you can tell it gives them energy, it gives them confidence. It's the team that's played a lot of Ultimate understand how it's supposed to be, but you always have to come in and get that first pass, first completion, and the first score, and then feel good that you can do well going forward.
Yeah, I think they absolutely needed that. Players just looked nervous out there. There were a couple of easy mistakes, a cross-field hammer, a miscommunication on the dump. This is a very talented team. This team is ranked second place in the UK right now. They took the third bid out of the UK, which is a very strong Ultimate country.
Let's go now, boys!
So East Midlands looks to break. Tanaka centers the disc to Kamimura. Finds Kurono. Kurono, late bid, holsters the huck. And some fast movement, a Blady throw in the Bullets offense. Looked great there as Kamimura puts in the score. 3-1 Buzz Bullets.
Buzz Bullets are one of the most exciting teams to watch in offense. You see a lot of timing plays and no hesitation. They show a level of chemistry that I haven't seen out of any other team in the world. I've actually only seen this out of Oregon Eagle back in 2012, where they would throw a lot of undercuts and immediately put it deep without hesitation to the receivers. And these timing plays can be good because you can score quickly and effectively, but they can also be a double-edged sword because eventually teams read those plays, and they're right there, and you're going to throw it anyway.
Check out this late bid from Emo. Looks off the immediate huck. Gets the up line, and then there's the Blady huck right away. You don't see that style of play from very many other teams.
One fluid motion, catch, turn, see, and as you're seeing, you're starting your throwing motion. The Buzz Bullets also have a very distinct style of holding the disc out from their body, in general, trying to get the mark to moving to the break lane so that way they can utilize their break throws and get the disc off quickly.
Hole goes up from the Japanese. Fielded by Povey. Povey back to Furnell.
Buzz Bullets are a very poachy team, and you can see they're trying to take away the lanes that are normally created by the vert stack.
Gale's going to send it deep. And that one's going to be too far. James Bald not able to catch up to it. So Sugaya. Sugaya calling a play.
You see Emo trying to emulate the style of the Buzz Bullets with the crossfield huck there. They don't hesitate in the same fashion, but they're not on the same page and not with the same expertise.
Sugaya is calling a break. Good spirit to let him tie his cleat. Wiping off the disc. And put into play. Sasanabe. Finding Senda, who toes the line. Foul called.
Again, the marks are very physical, very close, and it doesn't do you very much good, too, because either a foul can be called. These teams aren't going to be intimidated at this level of play.
Senda checks it in. Off the line. Sugaya. Low catch for Wakaya. Back to Senda. Senda into Sugaya. Sugaya into the end zone. Receiver deep. And no problem again for the Buzz Bullets to convert. 4-1 now over Emo.
It's a matter of execution at this point in time. Buzz Bullets are ready for this type of game. They're ready for this type of offense. Moving it quickly. Emo's had some self-inflicted wounds. But a lot of it has been because of the pressure of the Buzz Bullets. And that's why they're rolling.
Bullets have been here before. They won the World Ultimate Club Championships in 2006 in Perth, Australia. They've come to a host of international tournaments, known for coming to the Emerald City Classic in Seattle. They came to the West Coast Cup last year, faced off against some of the U.S. teams that are going to be here at this tournament: Sakai, Revolver, Johnny Bravo. And as they stated before the game, they are setting their sights no lower than becoming champions of this tournament.
They prepare well and high expectations, and they're masters of that distinct style that gives them the edge, even though they don't have the typical height advantage that a lot of the U.S. teams do. They're very competitive, and it's a matter of execution for them. It's exciting to watch in the international scene, and they're one of the reasons that make Ultimate great. As we see a zone, they're running a 1-3-2-1, very loose, a lot of poaching. They're switching, and you can hear the communication on the field very well. There's just a well-oiled machine in this way.
Scooper over the top. Furnell can't catch up to it. And this Buzz Bullets defense is throwing Emo off of their game. Quick shot to the end zone from Matsuno. And that's the first time we've seen Matsuno in the game. So the elusive Masahiro Matsuno has joined us on the pitch for the first time. He led the World Ultimate Club Championships in total points in 2010 in Prague.
And 1 year he came actually played with Furious back in 2011, I believe. Was just incredible playmaker.
Another mistake from Emo, and Emo looks sluggish getting back on defense. Furikado sends it deep, crossfield, Huck for the score. Buzz Bullets up, rolling early, 5-1.
This is a great time to take a timeout if you're Emo and recoup. Buzz Bullets are just executing better at this point. Emo, it's not necessarily about adjustments. They're not able to hit on the throws. They're not communicating well. Or I should say they're having a lot of miscommunications. It's not that they're not talking with each other. It's a matter of just not being on the same page at this point. And when you go into this timeout as they're doing right now, it's not about making any wholesale changes. It's about reminding people what you do well, focusing on one aspect of your game, and just getting people to reset and going, because it's 5-1. You don't need to worry about the score. You just need to get back in the game and get your offense clicking once again.
Stick with us during this timeout as we'll come back. Liam Rosen with Brian Jones from Skyd Magazine.
Skyd. Skyd Magazine. Skyd Magazine. It's Skyd. It's Skyd.
Skyd?
Skyd Magazine.
Skyd. Skyd? Or Skyd?
Skyd. Skyd.
Skyd.
One word. Skyd. No, you say
Skyd.
Skyd Magazine.
Skyd Magazine.
It's
Okay.
Skyd.
Skyd Magazine. Yes. Ja, voilà.
Well done, everybody. Just to remind you that all packages are available at the bar, so please come.
Bullets pull off. Puller actually slipped on the pull, and Emo will look to regroup after a very shaky start. Similar start, actually, is what we saw in a Huck deep right away, floating into space. Can he stay in? Trying to toe the line for the greatest, not able to get it. And another immediate turnover from Emo. That Huck actually looked quite good. If only it was reeled in just a couple meters, would have been perfect.
It's just what we've talked about. The execution is off right now for Emo. And it's tough because when you go for those hucks, it's what you like to do, but you feel like everything is going wrong if you're Emo. And when this happens, you need to focus defensively. You need to get the disc back. You need to make a couple of plays to make it easier for your offense. They just need to ratchet it up and stay intense.
So sun beating down on this pitch, hopefully drying up a bit of the moisture that accumulated from the rains over the last week. The games were actually canceled yesterday as organizers feared in a layout full extension D from Tom Fox. And Fox makes up for not being able to pull off the greatest on the last pass by absolutely exploding on that play.
That's exactly what Emo needed. They needed a defensive playmaker, and they just need to punch this one in.
Furnell trying to get it off the line. Gets it in for the gainer. Furnell again. Too high, though. And for a player that relies on the Colonel as much as they do, they need him to be perfect as bullets go the other way. Far sideline now, Harige. Up to Furikadu. Putting it deep right out into space. Perfect shot for the receiver. And Suzuki clears it for the Buzz Bullets, up 6-1 on Emo. Suzuki, one of the other rookies on this team. So rookies getting the job early for Buzz, Inomata, and Suzuki.
When your offense isn't clicking, you need to get them off the field. And this is a case where they're just not executing. Put fresh players in with a fresh mindset. It doesn't matter right now if they're one of your defensive line offenses or secondary offensive line, whatever you have. You need fresh players in there to get it done because this game is running away from you. It's not a game to 17 today. We're playing games to 15, and so half is in 2 points. And if you can get a couple here even before half, you have a chance to make a run and a comeback.
Take a look at the toe-in attempt, turned into the greatest, and then the layout D from Tom Fox. Play of the day so far, although the day is only a couple minutes old, but I think that has potential to be one of the plays of the week. So Emo with yet another chance to build a bit of momentum going into half. Blady pull from the Buzz Bullets. James Bald working with Wolverson.
Wide zone from the Buzz Bullets. Again, this is a very switchy zone that requires a lot of communication, and they're very good at it. Very flat marks right now. You can see Japan is giving them everything back. They're not worried about any side-to-side motion, any backfield dumps. They'll give free resets. They want to deny upfield, and Emo's broken through.
So Emo with a bit of momentum, up to about half field. Wolverson still working with it. Their two handlers are stuck on that far side of the field. Finally gets it back in the hands of Wolverson. Wolverson swings it to Gale.
Marks are playing so far off. They know the Hawks haven't been working, and they know there's a little of, I guess, timidness in trying to complete those Hawks once again.
Joe Winder puts it deep. There is a height advantage here. Emo goes up for it and makes the catch. Rolo sacks Dixon, uses the height for Emo.
Winder has been a player for the U23 teams in Great Britain, and he loves to put the disc deep. Use your height advantage. We talked about that. They look timid for a while, but sometimes you just need that play. And we'll see if this gives confidence to Emo. It's going to be important. They can't think about the score. They can't think about what's happened before whatsoever. They need to just move forward, get their defense rolling, move quickly, and not play with hesitation. That's just a death sentence for any offense. You play with hesitation, you think too much, you've already lost.
See again the deep shot in the score from Sax Dixon.
That's why I don't always like the change to zone when your man defense has been working so well for the Buzz Bullets, because what you do from a confidence standpoint, is the Buzz Bullets playing a very flat zone, giving swings and backfield dumps. You allow Emo to complete some passes, and that just gives a feeling of discs in their hands, getting confidence, making throws that they haven't been able to complete successfully throughout this entire game.
So Buzz Bullets' offense has been nearly perfect so far. Only a couple turnovers off mistakes. Kichikawa up to Kudono. Kudono jams it right up the line. Pinpoint throw to Tetsuya Kamimura for the very easy score from the Buzz Bullets, 7-2.
And they said they wanted to be champions of this tournament, and this is how a champion starts out a tournament. Just on all cylinders, just executing flawlessly for the most part throughout this game. And it's impressive to watch where Emo doesn't seem to have a chance because the Buzz Bullets are saying, oh, you're going to play off of us and show us a different look? Don't worry, we'll just complete this sharp angle break for the score. We'll throw a blade over the top. Yes, we have that. Yes, we have chemistry. And yes, we're winning 7-2.
See again the perfect shot to Kamimura. And this is something that for a lot of teams won't work out trying to jam it up that line. But the Buzz Bullets are such perfect throwers. They really make throwing an integral part of their game. So Emo will await the pull again. Here on our Skyd Magazine stream on a sunny day in Lecco, Italy. For those of you not familiar, Lecco, a city about 50 kilometers north of Milan in the north of Italy. This has been the rainiest summer in 100 years. Just saw the newspaper, the headline the other day. Tournament organizers had no idea this is going to happen, and these fields are not set up very well to handle rain. As we mentioned before, they had a helicopter in, floating over and drying out the fields. Looks like a travel was called on Rich Gale. Gale, one of the finer men's players in Great Britain, was selected for the Great Britain World Games squad where he competed in Cali, Colombia.
Captain of the team, actually.
Gale shimmying on the mark. Dump trying to get free, gets it off to Furnell. Furnell finds Gale as his receiver completely slips. And Furnell and Gale both, Furnell now with no mark.
Some of the Japanese will utilize, they're not afraid to just not give a mark and slowly keep downfield. Makes you think, makes you hesitate. They're good at presenting different defensive looks.
Cheeseman back to Furnell. Furnell fakes the hammer. Slides it through. Tough catch, but toes the line, does Tom Fox. Fox back to Cheeseman, who swings it to Furnell. Furnell hammer, and Gale is free. Easy score for Emo.
Rich Gale, one of those all-around players for GB, usually using his wide variety of throws to open up the field. And according to his player profile received, also useful in a choir.
He's got a smooth and silky voice, that Rich Gale. These GB teams not afraid to be a bit cheeky and have fun. Cheers are always good, especially the ones involving Brummy, the coach and captain of this team. Or, excuse me, coach was going to be playing, but fortunately injured just before the tournaments begin. So he's walking the sidelines trying to spur Emo on to victory. And we talked a bit about Sean Scone's Brummy, that is his determination in making the Emo offense very similar to the Buzz Bullets. I don't know if we've seen it too much so far. I think some of it just might be nerves and trying to figure out the first game of the day, but they're really trying to emulate Buzz's offense.
Well, they're trying to do it from a vertical stack, which is a little different than what the Buzz Bullets run already, but they like the idea of the cross-field shots and quick movements. And we have seen them use it before. Here is zone from Emo. C4, basically a 3-3-1 of some sorts. Really switchy. Now,
second hammer swing. Bullets unafraid to use that hammer. Very light conditions, almost no wind.
Utilizing almost a 2-3-2, but trying to trap to one side. So 2 people playing deep, 3 people in the middle of the field, and trying to switch off very quickly.
Tanaka to Matsuno. Kurono now with it, 3 meters out of the end zone. Kurono back to Kichikawa. And Kichikawa finds Mizuho Tanaka, who really worked that zone for Buzz Bullets, going up 8-3. That's going to take it to halftime. Remember, these are shortened games today. Organizers wanted to make sure they were leaving enough time. If lightning happened to shorten play, it is on the forecast for later in the afternoon. So all games today will be to 15. It's going to be a halftime break now. Do stick with us as we're going to go down to one of our Sky correspondents with a player interview.
First, though, we're going to do the sights and sound of Lecco.
So stay with us. And remember, during the break, hit us up on Twitter. I'm Skied_Liam Rosen. That's LIAMROSEN. You can find Brian Jones at no_look_Scuber. We'll read out the best tweets live on the air.
Guys, is it okay if I turn the camera around that the sun hits their faces instead of their back? This is going to be the background. Hey, we're going to run. Nice to see you. I should darken up a bit. German. In just a bit. Ready, guys, for the interview. Are you ready? Can we give you a 5-second warning?
Hi, I'm here with Brommy from the EMO. He's the coach, captain, and player. How are you enjoying the tournament and Lecco itself?
Well, it's good to actually get out to the fields after yesterday's cancelled games. Yeah, I mean, stunning location. Lots of problems logistically, weather, etc., but it's nice to actually get here and get on with business.
Sure. So we just had the first half of the EMO Buzz Bullets game. Yep. How did it go from your guys' perspective?
I think we're probably a little bit overexcited first half. There's been a few silly drops, simple overthrows and stuff. And I think that if we don't make those mistakes, then we're in a pretty tight game. As it stands, 8-3. Probably haven't given a great account of ourselves, but we just had a chat about relaxing and staying focused and trying to stick to our game and not focus so much on what they're doing.
So that's your second half plan. What was your kind of plan in the first half to try and shut down the Buzz Bullets offense?
Yeah, so a lot of it is just faith in ourselves, really, rather than trying to overanalyze what they were doing. We knew that we'd come out with a few different looks. I think we only had 3 defensive points that half, and we came down with a few different looks and kind of happy with some of it and less happy with others, so making some little adjustments. Mainly our focus really was our spacing on offense and making sure we left options open. I thought we did a good job of our spacing, but maybe not so good a job of just moving the disc early on. A few times where we held the disc a little bit too long and then got in high stall trouble. And a few little mistakes that came out as a result of that. Again, that's something we'll be working on the rest of the half and hopefully the rest of the tournament.
Cool. Well, good luck in the second half and good luck in the rest of your games today.
Thanks, Dave.
The second half will be along in just a few moments.
I'm neither a captain nor a coach. I'll let you off that. We got yelled at. I just told better.
Could have been more interesting.
Yeah. He was holding back. You could feel it. He was holding back. Tim! Tim! Have it on. Look at the model right there!
Yeah, no problem.
Looking good.
Dude, Hilko already has a sky head.
Yo, Hilko. Good morning.
The boy wonder.
So coming in after halftime, Buzz Bullets on offense, and Emo just needs to put some breaks in to make this game close. Unable to do it so far. They put on a zone.
It's going to be important for them to also just get their offense rolling. They need the breaks to get back in the game, but 1 point at a time. If you can get your offensive line going and get the defense to start working, that'd be great.
So Matsuno, no stranger to international competition, working with Kurono.
So in this 2-3-2, they don't seem to be forcing middle very much, and it seems that they like to go with a different variation.
And Kichikawa absolutely shredding that zone with the fast give and go. Unbelievable speed and quickness and disc release from Yohei Kichikawa. Emo just has no chance.
Japan is just going to shred that zone out all the time because they're used to handler movements and handler crashing and quick movements. That's really what destroys a 2-3-2 combination. You'd be better off going with a three-man cup that at least allows you to chase the disc and force a different throw. But there was no mark, so they had free passes back and forth gaining yards, and then one throw through the middle, which is what you can get. The 2-3-2 will give up one throw, but it won't allow any continuations. So that wasn't a problem for the Buzz Bullets, where they just kept gaining yards in their handler movement, got to the end zone, and then just took one pass to get the score.
Buzz Bullets used to playing in wind. They played the final of the Dream Cup this year. Very, very windy game. I asked them as well about the quality of the pitch. I said, will this affect how you play? They said, are you kidding me? This pitch is excellent. In Japan, we play on dirt. If you've ever seen the videos of the Dream Cup, you know that's true. They're literally playing on a dirty, muddy patch of semi-grass.
And this is about to become semi-grass as we go through the day, but for now, Buzz Bullets are excited to play, and they're ready to play.
Andrew Tate's going to send it deep. Nice shot from Tate. The Blady Hawk finding Robert Coddington for the score. So Emo's offense off to a good start in the second half.
And Emo get their offense rolling. On defense, they're trying a zone. The Buzz Bullets are executing flawlessly right now. I like their man defense. I want Emo to come up with a little bit of energy now and just see what they can do. Come straight man defense, try to force them out and make the Buzz Bullets make a play. They just have to find the energy, chop their steps a little bit more because of the muddy field, and stick with it. They've gotten a couple of great layout Ds.
This has been a quick game so far. I saw a comment on the live stream. I was, from an American, I was worried about staying up to watch the match, but it looks like I'm not going to have to. It's just going over fast. Typical ultimate point is 10 throws, takes about 2 minutes. The average point here has been less than a minute.
Buzz Bullets like to operate quickly. And they've just the execution that they're putting at a clinic right now. It's usually hyperbole to say that, but that's how good their start has been. This Buzz Bullets offense has not needed to take in the field that much, and when they've done so, it's been without hesitation. A lot of confidence and a lot of great timing from the cutters and throwers.
Pull floats out of bounds for Emo. Their pulls have been pretty good so far. So Buzz Bullets will attempt to find the brick mark. Disc is bricked in. And Emo again going to try the zone.
This one's a little bit different, a 1-3-3. Just one mark, 3 people trying to switch off. They're just leaving a lot of holes, and the Buzz Bullets are going to be fine with just passing it back and forth with their handlers.
The mark is very loose on this one. They're almost not even getting to put on a stall count. As the Bullets try the crossfield hammer swing. Kichikawa again, he was so good in that last zone point. Forces a miscommunication though.
It's one of the first miscues unforced that we've really seen. The defensive pressure wasn't there. The Buzz Bullets just got in a rhythm of moving it quickly, and eventually side-to-side movement led to a turnover.
Emo with the chance for their first break of the game. Gonna send it deep. And a drop, a disastrous drop for Emo. Kichikawa actually went up too early.
Disaster is right.
As Matsuno runs it down the other way on one of those typical crossfield blading hucks.
This could have been a 4-point game. Emo getting momentum. Nothing has gone their way in this game. They've gotten no breaks in terms of just the hucks have been out the back. They've been, Scuba was just too far. Their hammer attempt, the receiver couldn't go and get it. And I just haven't seen the readiness, the mental readiness here. I don't know if they came into this game really mentally prepared to just ready to go, because their execution is off, their timing is off, and their confidence is off. And you can just see it in hesitation. That play, while it was a drop in the end zone, wasn't a great set play or anything. It was a matter of a high stall count situation and trying to throw a cross field near blade to the break side. And so they're not making great decisions. You have to give some credit to the Buzz Bullets here playing good defense. They've come out and really brought some of the pressure early on, first getting a layout D. But besides that, it seems like Emo has been the ones that making the mistakes and really self-inflicted wounds in this game.
Nice pull from the Bullets, going in deep, Sennel to Furnell.
No mark, no worries from the Buzz Bullets. Something I've heard Seattle Sockeye has done in the past as well, which is just getting your opponent to think and just create some chaos.
Cheeseman, speaking of chaos, turfs a disc to Gale. And this is very similar to how GB looked in the final in 2012 in Japan against Team USA. Just all out of sorts, execution, nothing working. Buzz Bullets convert the break. In for the score, 11-4, Buzz Bullets on top.
And they need a timeout right now because they're hanging their heads. You need to at least get some positive out of this game if you're Emo. You need to come out and start scoring and not just play through this in some fashion. This is a great opportunity to work, not worry about what the outcome is anymore. You've already invested yourself in the game. It's really hard for a competitor to do that. You've come into a game, you've wanted to win, you wanted to be competitive, but it's 11-4. You have another game today. You have a couple more games in your pool. This is the top team in your pool as well. And they're a great team. There's nothing wrong and no shame in losing. But settle yourself down. Do some mental exercises. Do whatever you need to do. Because right now it's just not about the actual strategic portions of Ultimate. It's about completing throws and catches. And that's what they need to do, just better. So they need to mentally settle down.
Another pull from the Bullets, and Emo with another chance to execute. Cheeseman.
More loose marking from the Buzz Bullets.
Cheeseman finding Winder, the U23 player. Upfield to Gale. Gale far sideline. Looking for the swing to David Povey. Povey back to Winder. Winder, foul called on the mark. And good thing there was a foul there, as Daniel Furnell was having trouble getting open for the dump downfield. Furnell, interesting dump pattern, gets his dump defender off balance though, and able to go up for it as Emo swing it all the way across the field. Buzz Bullets defense though, still proving a challenge for Emo, and they swing it right up the line, trying to jam it in, and the throw is too low and too far for Captain Robert Coddington.
Before the game, talking to the Buzz Bullets, saying they were happy to play in this game. They were happy about the field conditions. That's just one thing, is if you can feel excited about what you're playing on and what the conditions are, you have a mental edge. And I'm not sure here, because we're watching Emo just kind of stumble throughout the field, kind of hang their heads, hesitate a little bit, not be able to pivot as comfortably. The Japanese just don't seem to care. They're here to play Ultimate, and they're here to have fun.
So Furikado working with Sugaya. It's put deep. Emo has the height advantage. Can they box out? And they do. So Tom Fox comes up big again. He's been one of the lone bright spots in Emo's defense.
Had a layout D earlier that was play of the game. Right now, Emo with another shot to put it up, and they just, you saw last time they got to the end zone and they tried to break the mark for an up line. They're not trying to dump swing the disc. They need to have that element in their game if they're going to succeed at high levels against high-level teams this week. You have to be patient. You have to be able to select your shots.
So disc check back in for Furnell. Swings to Cheeseman. Back up line, nice dump cut from Furnell. Snags it out of the air. Now on the far sideline to Gale. Still working up that open side. Gale, cross-field hammer, swing to Cheeseman. Lots of poaching from the Buzz Bullets. Winder. Winder gets it into Furnell. Emo looking good so far, finding Fox, but it's too far again.
It's a throw and a catch that needs to be made, needs to be executed, and that's what we've been talking about. They've come out, they've been unable to execute in the ways they've needed to in this game. It's unfortunate for Emo, which, you know, we think they have talent here, and I think they can do better than what they're showing in this game, Liam.
I think some of it comes with not being able to judge the pitch correctly. This pitch is very watered down. As we mentioned before, it takes a while to get your footing, as we see the D here from Tom Fox using his height to elevate.
All that means in these situations that throws need to be to the receiver and less to space. The throwers have been unable to adjust in this game.
So disc coming back in for the Bullets. Furikado swings it cross field. Miscommunication from the Buzz Bullets and gives Emo one more chance. Tom Fox. And Fox, a near turnover as he threw that throw. He was already hanging his head in defeat, but Daniel Furnell lays out to save it. So Emo, by the skin of their teeth, gets their 5th point on the board in this game.
And it works out finally. Furnell able to make that play. But it's coming at a price where every throw is like that. And they need to just be more to the receiver, right to the chest, as opposed to out to space.
Brian, I want to point out on your screen right now, Emo players are wearing black armbands. This is a very sad story to report. One of the players that was new to the club, Ben Peacock, was actually on board the plane that crashed, was shot down, in fact, over the Ukraine this week. The Malaysian Airlines flight headed to the Netherlands, and players honoring his memory here, as this happened just before the World Championship started a couple weeks before. So very sad to report. All of us at Skyd, our thoughts are with Ben and Emo and the entire UK Ultimate family.
Let's go, Freddie! Let's go! Come on, Freddie, get there, Freddie! Get out there! Come on, Kevin, you tired?
So Emo finally converting a break. Not enough, though. His Bullets will try to close this game out. Remember, this game is to 15. Shortened games all of today. As organizers try to make up for lost time from a day of canceled games yesterday.
Back to a 2-3-2 zone look for Emo. Usually this is incorporated with a forced middle. And you can see one pass is always open, but they're trying to defend the downfields well by switching.
Kichikawa hammers into the center. Bullets on the door snap now. And Emo can't catch up. Bullets offense looking fantastic again as they put in their 12th of the game.
It's really hard in the 2-3-2 to guard that middle. It's the most important part. And when you get behind the defense in that 2-3-2, because what Japan is doing right now is there's two deeps. And so they already have 2 players deep occupying those deep defenders. And that opens up a space behind the middle of the 3. In the middle of the field, we see that hammer open things up. And at that point, you need to transition to man. Your zone's over. It's been bested. And that's comes from experiences. This is a zone I love, Liam. I incorporated a lot in college because it forces teams to think. But the Buzz Bullets are just so good at doing this. They just will move it around. They're not afraid to throw it over the top. And as soon as that happens, the zone's been defeated. You need to transition to man. I think Emo needs to go back to the other zone they were showing, which was a 1-3-3. That provided a little bit more coverage downfield with 3 people deep. And here, just the hammer over the top. That's where it's beaten. You're done. And so it's right now they have a hard time, and you can't even transition to man because the Bullets are just easily dicing through it.
I asked Brummy, Emo's coach, before the game if his familiarity with the Buzz Bullets would lead to any strategic adjustments. He said the team hadn't really had that much time to think about it. They were just going to try to play what they always had been. So Winder working it up the field. Finding Gale wide open. Far sideline. Gale's going to put it deep. Crossfield pass. And that's the best Emo's offense has looked in a while. So Emo trying to get a bit of momentum. I do like what they've done so far with their deep shots, or the shots into the end zone where it's crossed the field. It's been a little bit bladey. That's also reminiscent of how the Buzz Bullets play, as this pull will land just out of bounds.
And we've seen a couple of those cross-field shots, but in reality, it's a matter right now that they can't execute. They have throws that are open, and they're not completing them. And I think the adjustment that needs to be made here for Emo is when they get the disc is throw to the man. Don't throw in front, because they've been unable to complete those space throws. And yes, it can make things harder, but when you have open throwers coming across the face of the disc, complete it a gut shot. Give it right to their gut.
Tanaka looking for the dump. Matsuno up to Kichikawa. Kichikawa inside break, finding Takahashi. Takahashi to Korono. Korono finding Kamimura, who jumps in, and the average Buzz Bullets O point has lasted about 15 seconds.
It's been incredibly fast, and they've been able to come right through because they have the break throws and they have the quick movements. They're all in sync, and it's a team that's been playing this system for a long time. It's part of their identity. You almost don't need to do scouting coming into these games, and I've done a couple of Buzz Bullets games in the past, even at the Worlds. I know you have. And a lot of times we actually got a lot of information and good conversation today. A lot of times Japanese coaches are saying, when we ask what their offense is going to do, they say it's a secret. It's really no secret what they're going to do. We know it's going to involve a lot of breaks, a lot of cross-field shots, and it was posted on OT World really in-depthly lays out what this offense is about. But this is their better identity. This is what helped them win in 2006. This is what helped them reach quarters in 2010, losing the Revolver in the last one at Prague. And the same thing that had them get to quarters in 2012, and really their size did not help them in that game in 2012 when they were playing as the Japan national team, losing to Sweden, and Sweden just had the height, had the zone defense ready for that game.
Ball will just go out the back. That's one of the first Buzz Bullets that's been Buzz Bullets pulls, that's been out of bounds. Their pulls have looked great all game. And I feel sorry for Emo's D-line here. They really have not had much chance to work in this game as I look at the players standing on the sidelines. It can be frustrating, speaking as a naturally D-line player myself, being down by this much and just watching the O-line fail to execute. Nice immediate break from Furnell to Povey. Rich Gale just standing right near the Japanese player that's poaching off the disc saying, give it to me. Coddington to Povey. Povey's gonna swing it all the way across the field to Furnell with a hammer. Furnell looking, blade over the cup to Tate. Tate back to Furnell, who swings it to Povey. Emo swing it to the other side of the field. Emo really trying to figure out this zone. Bullet swing, and that was bound to happen eventually.
You can just read the body language. They're just mentally out of this game, and there's been no timeouts called in this second half. And I know they're only down to 2 timeouts a game to keep things moving, but you need to take it because you need to regroup. And either you're going to come away from this game and you've got to say we're going to forget about it completely, or you're going to try to build something positive, and they've been unable to do so.
Furikado looking to get it in. Layout D, though, from James Bald. Emo will put it deep right away. It looks like we have an injury, though, on the field. Andrew Tate is holding his hamstring, and he's gone down. This looks serious. Tough break for Emo as they wanted the deep shot and Tate was there, just suddenly slowed down. So you see the D from the play before. James Bald laying through to get that D. We're back here is one of the trainers is on the field bringing ice to Andrew Tate. Tate looks like he's finally getting up, so this is a good sign. So Tate will be walked off the field by 2 of his teammates. And I believe that turnover will stand. Throw was thrown before the injury occurred. So Buzz Bullets will pick that one up. And you have to wonder if that was an injury that had been nagging him for a while. It didn't look like he was doing anything strange. He didn't come down on it wrong. He was just simply running and seized up. So players will return to their positions as the injury occurred. So disc will resume. Play is now back in. Disc is live, so Buzz Bullets will take their time in setting up, just 2 points away from closing out this game.
In a game where they've executed nearly flawlessly, they've had a couple of miscues themselves, but it's a great start to this tournament. Sometimes it's hard to tell for these top teams because they'll come in, they'll look really good against maybe, we don't know where Emo really stacks up until after this game and see how they do. But the Buzz Bullets haven't been challenged in this game. And when you're unchallenged, it can be easy to say, oh, they look great, they're going to be, they're one of the teams to beat. They still have a lot of competition to go through, and especially once they get the power pools.
Miyabi, the longest standing player on this team, working well against the Emo defense. Buzz Bullets will put it deep right away. Beauty of a flick huck's going to be too far, though. Misjudging. We've talked about before, this pitch is slow, especially in the middle as the mud starts to turn up.
Teams will adjust over the course of this tournament, but today you can get off to a real start. It's not going to matter for the top teams. It's going to matter for those teams that are on the cusp. Who can adjust first? If you're warming up, you've got to be doing a lot of running hucks. You've got to get that timing. You've got to have your offense be able to go through it. You only get half field of scrimmage, and so when they come out and you don't have that timing in place for your hucks, but you're doing short passes, it's a little easier. It's the longer hucks that are going to matter the most.
So Fernell walks the disc up to the line. Fernell and Povey working with it. To Coddington. Finding Gale. Evo still working it up that open sideline.
More zone for the Buzz Bullets. 3 people around the disc at this point.
And a dropped swing pass. Another example of the mental mistakes in this first game from Emo.
Just a matter of looking upfield before the disc is secured.
Easy score from the Buzz Bullets as they hold. 14-6, just 1 point away from closing out the game.
And just a beautiful throw. It has a lot of touch on it, a lot of spin, and it sits nicely for the receiver to run onto. Contrast that with Emo, who has been throwing a lot of discs with less spin, more velocity towards their target. They've sailed past the intended receivers oftentimes. Shout out to the official photographer of the tournament, Ulti Photos. View all the great photos we see here today on ultiphotos.com.
As well as Ulti Photos, might as well mention 5 Ultimate. They've outfitted the entire Sky team. Got our hats just delivered.
We're all in blue.
15 minutes ago, looking very blue. It's going to be the official color of the World Ultimate Club Championships here in Lecco's. We really hope, Brian, that this sun continues to shine and dry out these fields.
I mean, this is the first time we've seen blue skies, I think, in the 2 weeks that we've been here so far. And just clear, great view of the mountains here in Lecco. Beautiful sight.
Don't get your hopes up, though, as clouds are on the forecast for later in the day. That seems to be the trend, as the storm clouds kind of build up all day and then execute in the afternoon.
It's been a story of 3 seasons, rain, cold, and hot. When the sun's out in the morning, hot and muggy, but it's been a couple of very cool days as well with the rain.
Winder controls that disc. Winder, actually the coach of this team. I was corrected on Twitter. Brummy is actually not the coach. Winder slipping has made some nice catches so far. He'll take the timeout. It's a nice opportunity for Emo chance to bring in the point or have the chance of having the game end. They just have one timeout remaining, so they'll take some time here to talk it over.
She's definitely got a fiery personality. Oh, paper jam. I bet $5 she goes Donkey Kong. She totally just did. She's a hothead.
So after the timeout call, Winder will check it back in. Swings to Tom Tung. Winder wiping the mud off the disc. Back to Tung. Cuts hard to find from downfield against the Buzz defense. Although steadily working it up. The Buzz defense will kind of collapse. They're very good about doing that as it gets to end zone, and a one-handed catch just dropped lackadaisically. Buzz Bullets now with the chance to finish off this game. Arakawa breaks for the upline to Sugaya. Sugaya near layout D for Mimo. Finds Wakaya. This is for the win. Can he toe the line? It looks like that will be the goal, and that will be the game. So Buzz Bullets finish off their first game of the day in efficient fashion. 15-6 over East Midlands Open.
I sound like a corporate executive saying, hey, we need to execute flawlessly, but that's exactly what the Buzz Bullets did. They came out, great offense, ran right through, no problems for them, and a great start to this tournament. Nemo is going to look on the other side. I think they need to forget about this game. They just need to just not worry about it, get back to having fun, and play some Ultimate, because they're not playing with confidence right now, and they're hesitating way too much. So, need to get back into it.
Let's take a look at that line toe-in from Sasanabe. Great line awareness to get that one down. You can see he's just looking at the disc, doesn't even look at the line, just extends his foot enough to reel in the score. So Buzz Bullets in a game that was decided by efficiency take down their first win. If they set their sights on nothing less than a world championship here in Lecco. Emo, on the other hand, will go back and regroup. They're playing for one of their players. As we mentioned, the black armbands earlier, Ben Peacock, a player new to the team who perished as the airplane, Malaysian Airlines flight that you saw in the news was shot down over Ukraine, just happened to be on the flight. So the team will keep Ben's memory with them as they go through the rest of the tournament. Stay tuned for a post-game interview. I'm going to try to get someone from the Buzz Bullets with you, possibly Masahiro Matsuno, who hasn't been on a Sky Magazine interview since I believe you interviewed him at ECC 2011, Brian Jones. That was a pretty funny interview. But we'll stay with you all day. Stay tuned for our next match. That's going to be Colony from Australia versus Otso from Finland in the Open Division here in Lecco, Italy. I'm Sky Magazine's Liam Rosen, signing off for Brian Jones.
Yeah, could you have them on the other side? Sure.
I'm here with Kaz and Hatsuno from Buzz Bullets. How did the game there against Emo go?
今のゲームどうでした？
まあ初戦ということで非常にグラウンドもあまり良くなかったので難しい試合でした。
So this is our first game, and field condition is kind of wet. It's kind of difficult to play.
Yeah. So did you have any tactics for the bad weather or for the game in itself?
コンディションが悪い中でグラウンドのなんかそういう戦術的なものってあったんですか？
やはりチーム同士、味方同士がいい連携をするということだけ、味方を思いやってプレーする。
It's a kind of bad field condition, so each other is a kind of near distance. Then so it's a kind of easily to catch.
Sure. And how are you guys looking forward? How are you guys feeling about the rest of the pool and the games that are coming up today and tomorrow? Have you got any games you're looking forward to in particular?
初戦あと2試合ですけど、それに向けてどんな感じ？
徐々にチームとしていいコンディションでやって、いい勝ち方をしたいですね。
Yeah, we think our condition is getting better, so maybe we can show you guys more good games.
Cool. We're looking forward to seeing it. Thanks to Buzz. Well done for your win. And check out Sky Magazine for the rest of the schedule for the stream games. We're done here.